Hey Fab Fam, it's Vinny B with Dead on Board Gaming, and I'm here with the banned and restricted announcement that came up today from Legend Story Studios. I'm going to go ahead and read over this. I'm going to give you the good, the bad, the ugly, and kind of just my thoughts on it and what I think is going to happen going forward. So anyways, it's banned and restricted. Over the course of the Road to National seasons, we affirmed by the results of the Calling Las Vegas, Chain, Bound by Shadows, has clearly emerged as the best performing hero in Classic Constructed. True. That is true. As demonstrated by Tyler Horsepool, who won the Calling Las Vegas with his innovative Prism control deck, Chain can be beaten. Very true. And this was my big argument, is that he was able to be beaten. As he won, I think, 7 out of 8 or 6 out of 7, one of the two. He beat all Chain decks. Again, he had to warp his deck to that. That would make it format warping, which is a concern. And in fact, Chain, here we go, 7 times on his way to lifting the winner's trophy, saying that we believe Chain's current power level is oppressing to the viability of other aggressive decks, and to be frank, has a consistent play patterns that are proving unfun to play against and spectate. Agree and disagree. I do think it was fun, and I also think it was kind of nice for, I think it was good for when it came, because it was a forgiving deck due to its play pattern. Of course, you can be really good at the deck, but the deck itself was forgiving because you got to draw so many extra cards. So, like, once you started to learn when you needed to hold your hand and see what your banishes do, that, you know what I mean, that was step one, and I think that was really forgiving for newer players. And we know that Monarch was a big onboarding set for the game. So as for spectate, sure. I think the game's fun to watch in general. I think it's easier to follow than Magic, though some people would say no. But the fact that the board resets every time and you have life totals, you always at least have a sense of where the game's at, even though there might be other things going on, or and really the things you wouldn't know are just the type of deck build and play styles. So, like, I don't know. I think all the games are exciting, even the Chain decks, but I can understand that. Sorry about the voice clear. We believe that removing Seeds of Agony from the Classic Constructive format will be positive for the tournament experience while not eliminating Chain's viability as a player in the metagame. Yes and no. Yes and no. I think Seeds of Agony is the engine of that deck. It gave the ability to do multiple different things. We believe that removing Seeds of Agony from the Classic Constructive format will be a positive for the tournament experience while not eliminating Chain's viability as a player in the metagame. Chain will have to work harder to enable his current game plan, allowing other aggressive decks to compete, which we believe supports a more positive game experience. Again, I agree and disagree here. Seeds of Agony, I think, is crucial to his game plan. So I think it's crucial to what his game plan is going forward. But the other card to ban would be Riftbind. Seeds of Agony made Riftbind really good. If you take Riftbind out, you have Seeds of Agony attached to other things, which may actually spawn just a different type of aggressive deck. But if you remove Seeds of Agony, which they did, which I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I know I said I agree and disagree. I actually don't. I actually think it was the right removal. I just hate that it nerfs it so hard. But I do think it's kind of cool that if you can chain together 2 or 3 non-attack actions and a Riftbind, that being a decently strong turn without being overly powerful, where Seeds, banishing 4 Seeds into anything is a very good thing. I mean, 4 different sources of arcane damage plus whatever your attack is. I think is strong. Um, Again, the more I think about it, the more I agree with Seeds. Unhallowed Rites is another card we are watching closely. The ability to recur Howl from Beyond multiple times over the course of a game is an engine that enables Chain to repetitively output damage above the normal cost matrix. Unhallowed Rites is on the classic constructed watch list. I appreciate this, but again, I do have a feeling that this is a big ban, and I don't think this is going to end up being an issue. Being able to do that's cool, but like, I don't know, maybe. I mean, it does come from the banish zone. That's the thing you got to think of, is that you get to like recycle these plus recycle those, but it only gives you 3 of them. So I would give you six of those that you have to get back to the bottom to draw. This may open up a more controlling version, or a more skill-intensive version. So all right, I get behind that too. Again, I want to come here and argue some of this, but like, Legend Story just, I agree with everything they're saying, and again, I do have a very good faith in them as a company to run this correct. So if they think this is the right band, as of right this second, I have nothing but faith in them. The last Blitz season was Skirmish Season 2 that ran soon after the release of Monarch. During that season, Chain was the second best performing hero. It was a period of time when Chain was new and the best build of the deck was still being refined by players around the world. Since then, players have mastered Chain and refined the deck. With Skirmish Season 3 starting in November, we believe that removing Seeds of Agony from the Blitz format will support a more positive player experience. I have to agree. The only thing I don't agree with right here, and I want to make this very known, is I don't think I agree with them doing this right as Tails is coming out, because I believe that Tails has a lot of things going that are going to affect Chain in a negative way. And I know that would cause an unbalance of new heroes, or whatever the new hero that beats Chain for a while, but the whole goal would be to hate Chain out to the point where he's not being played by everybody, and then he comes into the game as a regular player in the meta. And I think there was a possibility of that happening, but again, they felt there was a reason to ban, which is against what they wanted to do in the first place. They said they never wanted to ban a card, and they never wanted to do this. So I totally understand. So we're going to get into Seeds Agony per them. Why now? Tales of Aria might fix it. Exactly what I was just saying here. Yes, we expect the ice mechanic feature in Tales of Aria to be effective at combating Chain's primary game plan by slowing him down. Yes, I think that's going to be a big thing. We also expect Chain to remain a big part of the metagame despite this. I find that harder to believe. I think he'll be there. Again, you get to draw another hand. I'm sure there's a build that's okay. I just hope between this and the new heroes that it just doesn't completely snipe him out of the format. He is a fun character, hero. As it stands, we feel there is a risk that the metagame could become very narrow for the National Champ season beginning October 23rd, and that the best decision is to act now. Okay, see? Completely explains why. Don't want to run into an issue where you're playing a dead format for a bigger event, and there's no reason to sit there and dangle it. I agree with this wholeheartedly. We want the players as much time to prepare for nationals. Yeah, you don't want to sweep it under. You don't want to make it happen right before it either. So it was either right after or right before. Either are bad optics. I broke my pen. And we believe it would be completely unreasonable to ban a card midway through the National Champ season. Very fair. We feel the options are to act now or not until Champ season has concluded. We are choosing to act now. Fair enough. How did this seed grow to become the monster it is? Ha ha ha. See, and I like that they're answering this, because this is the question. How did this get past development? And that's what they're answering right here. So during development of Monarch, we were planning for a significant season of limited format calling events. The mid-year national champs featuring Monarch Booster Draft and the prolonged status of COVID wrecked these plans. The Monarch limited calling events that were scheduled for Taipei, I hope I said that right, Singapore, and Melbourne all canceled, and the U.S. calling series being pushed back to begin with Tales of Aria. National champs also got pushed back to quarter four. The lesson for us is we put too much focus on balancing chain for Monarch Booster Draft during development at the cost of Classic Constructed in particular. We knew and wanted chain to be a top performing deck in constructed formats. He is the face of Shadow at this point in time, a key figure in the Monarch story arc, the villain every good story needs. Considerations such as chain having 3 intellect, less than 2040 health, no arsenal, variations of his activated ability. That's where I would have went with the activated ability, making it have a cost to some point, like cost 1 or 2 to make it actually matter. Probably just 1, but that was where I was at. And the costing of some of his cards were all considered. In hindsight, the mistake was reducing the resource cost of both Seeds of Agony and Rift Binding during booster draft development to ensure that these 2 commons to form the core of the primary chain draft archetype. Okay, so that makes sense. So like these all costed a little more. That actually makes complete sense, because if like Seeds cost 1, fine card. If Rift Bind costs 2, fine card. Still has the strong thing, but they wanted it to be very good in limited, which they've already stated is their favorite format and stuff like that. So it sounds like they just didn't put enough testing into the constructed part of what these cards were going to do, because they were focusing on this. I'm going forward. Why ban cards when there's Living Legend? The purpose of Living Legend policy isn't to act as only a safety valve to purge overpowered decks from the format. It is primarily supposed to serve as a role of honor, to recognize excellence over the history of the game, and to refresh the metagame from time to time. To that end, we don't view Living Legend as being something that will eventually clean up this mess. Without Seeds of Agony, we expect Chain to continue his march towards Living Legend status, but believe that without Seeds Agony, that it can happen in a more positive way. So they still believe he's going to be very good. We're going to move on to Duskblade. We made a mistake. I love that's the first. Okay, Duskblade. We made a mistake. This card was added to Tales of Aria late in development. It's not part of the core elemental theme of the set. For its flavor, it was a callback to Monarch's War of Light vs. Shadow being demonestery. I can never say that word. Demonasteries. There it is. Bam! Demonasteries. Wow. Counterpart to another iconic weapon of Wrath, Solana's Dawnblade. Unfortunately, Duskblade was not subjected to the classic constructed testing process it should have been, particularly being a weapon that starts in play and influences every turn of the game. Duskblade invalidates control strategies in classic constructed, where over the course of a long game it reliably accumulates upwards of 10 counters. Wow, that's powerful. Fair enough. We believe Duskblade can find a place in Blitz as the nature of the format leads to shorter games due to the presence of top-performing aggressive and combo decks such as Ira, Dorinthia, and Kano. We will be watching results closely. Duskblade is on the Blitz watch list. So they just straight admitted that they just didn't test this for constructed. Again, I appreciate it. It hurts. I was excited about this card. But, like, it's too easy, especially with something like Chain, where you have the 2 decks and can consistently do the ability to do it. I think it's whenever it attacks, if you played an attack action and a non-attack action, it gets a counter. And if you don't play both of those one turn, all the counters are removed. We apologize and feel embarrassed for this mistake and are taking learnings from it to better improve our development process. That's all we can ask for, right? You learn from your mistakes. Admit your mistakes, learn from your mistakes, and we can't ask anything else. And again, I have full confidence in them that they made the right decisions. I would have liked to see Duskblade be able to be played in the format, considering it hasn't been banned yet. I do think it's bad optics to have to ban a card before it even hits our hands, before we get to play it. But again, if you're confident that it's going to just be bad, perhaps they started testing after it went to the printers or whatever. But if they're confident that it's bad for the format, I believe them, and I commend them for taking the actions immediately. The upcoming National Champ season, running in 25 countries around the world, is shaping up to be an incredible tournament season. We are taking preemptive action in the interest of supporting healthy and enjoyable National Champ seasons by removing Duskblade from the Classic Constructive format. Damn. Okay. I think both of these are hits directly at Chain. I don't know if both of them needed to happen from that thing. So my real question is, did their testing switch out where Seeds of Agony was in part of the deck? Is my only question, or were they testing it with Seeds of Agony and just realized there was a problem with the card in general and didn't bother to see if it changed here? And again, maybe it does get banned later, but not having to do it before it even comes out of the box, I think, might have been worth a little extra testing if they didn't do it. I'm not saying they didn't do it. This is just, me spitballing here. So, anyways, could banned cards ever become unbanned? The card pool grows. We will regularly review cards. Sorry, I can't say that word either. On the banned and restricted list. Ooh, they have a restricted list also. And welcome them back to gaming tables if we believe that it would be positive for the format and create good gaming experiences. I love this too. This is, I know it gets done in other games, but again, this company's, 2.5 years old? 3 years old? 2019? I think they were established. Probably 2 years. The game's 2 years old. I love that they're coming out and saying that right there. Because if Chain, or when Chain, one of the two, gets to Living Legend status, you get to look at these cards again, because you're going to print another Shadow. You'll probably even print another Shadow Runeblade once it gets to that point down the line when Chain is looking like he is going away. I'm assuming that they will make a move to replace the hero with a different ability and stuff like that, but to be able to use Shadow Runeblade cards. So if Chain does hit Living Legends status, we would probably be able to get Duskblade back. Probably Seeds of Agony too, though I think Seeds of Agony just might be, as they said, undercosted and too good. I agree that, like, cards that go to the banish zone with Blood Debt that you can play shouldn't cost 0 with Go again without you having to jump through another hoop. Though I do think it did make the deck operate in a better level. Like, it allowed you to attack with shoot, I can't think of it. The Duskblade for 4 by just playing one of those. It gave you these options to kind of maneuver through bad draws and bad banishes. No matter what, I'm super excited for Tales of Aria to come out. I think this will help people feel more welcome into the game, as Chain was a big complaint. And the last thing you want is every time your game's looked up is seeing negative things. Right now you see, you still see these first edition costs of like Alpha and first edition Arcane Rising that are making people, that are off-putting to people that don't do any more research than looking up cards and seeing that you can get cheaper versions of these, and that technically you're looking at about a modern Magic deck for most decks to build, and then most of the things that you need, you only need one of, and all the generics are rotatable through your deck. So I think over the course of it, it's cheaper. We can always talk about it. If you don't like the heroes or don't like the idea of the set, you can skip it, because the whole point is to not power creep your heroes out and to keep the game very balanced. Them being proactive just solidifies that they mean that. That is 100% what their intention is to keep all the heroes in a balance and keep everybody playing until they hit living legend status. And just real quick, I want to just talk about how I'm very excited if this game continues to stay healthy and stuff like that, and we get multiple living legend statuses. We're looking at a legacy, guys. Like, that's a format. You get 4 to 5 heroes in living legend status. Now you're playing the best of the best. You're playing the old stuff. And that, if they don't already have that as a plan, here you go. It is free if you happen to listen to it. You have a perfect way to build a legacy format, and I love it. And you get to go in through a legacy format and unban everything and let them all be as strong as they possibly can be, and then go through a new ban and restricted list for that format. Again, I love this game. I hope it stays around forever. So I would be super excited to see what that ends up looking like, 5 years down the road. But anyways, guys, I just wanted to hit this. This was super big news. I went to bed early last night, or I would have made this video last night. But that's what I get for trying to get a good night's sleep. See, never again. Never again. But anyways, guys, thank you so much. And as always, thank you for being the best community in gaming. And I'll see you guys next time.